Alright, so we're going to look at some of this vocab that we saw before break, and let's define it again so that you remember. So the vertex is either your lowest or highest point on the parabola. And remember, it's also called the minimum or maximum, depending on which one it is. The axis of symmetry is a vertical line that intersects our parabola at the vertex. So it's that line that goes directly through the vertex, which makes the parabola symmetrical. The equation for that is going to be x equals whatever number your x value is of the vertex. The roots of a quadratic function are the points. It might be 1, it might be 2, it might be none, where the parabola crosses the x-axis. So there are multiple names for this that you'll see a lot of. So also known as your x-intercept, zeros, solutions, and roots. So roots, x-intercept, zero, solutions all mean the same thing. They're just asking, where does our parabola cross the x-axis? The y-intercept is the point where the parabola intersects the y-axis. So just exactly what that means. Where does it cross the y-axis? And this will only be one point. So you'll never have more than 2 y-intercepts. Alright, so on this, if we look at example 1, it already gives you a graph, and we want to identify all of these things. We want to identify the roots, which are your x-intercepts if we look at this definition, your vertex, so your highest or lowest point. Is it a maximum, is it a minimum? And you're going to circle one of those. What is the equation of the axis of symmetry? What's the y-intercept, and what's the domain and range? So let's begin by looking at the roots. So if I look and see, where does this graph cross the x-axis? It crosses here and here. So when you write your roots, you need to write them as ordered pairs. So this first one would be -4, 0. The second one would be 2, 0. So there are our roots. All right. Vertex, this is the highest or lowest point of the parabola. So that would be down here. And again, I want to write the ordered pair, the coordinate for this. So that coordinate would be -1, -9. Now, is this vertex a max or a min? Well, just looking at it, that is the lowest point on the graph. So that is going to tell me that it is a minimum. All right, axis of symmetry, that's this line that goes through the vertex, because there my parabola is symmetrical about that line. So the x value of that is -1. So that equation is x equals -1. All right, y-intercept, where does our parabola cross the y-axis? So here's our y-axis, it crosses there. Again, I want to write ordered pair. So that ordered pair is 0, -8. And then lastly, domain and range. So we did this before break. Domain, if you recall, all of our domains for parabolas, quadratics, should always be all real numbers unless we're given a particular scenario. Our range, if I look from bottom to top, the lowest point is -9, the highest point is infinity. So our y is greater than or equal to -9. Or if you prefer that that notation, it doesn't matter. I'll let you choose on this homework. You don't have to write both. So choose inequality or interval. Either of those is fine. All right, so moving on to example 2. This one we don't have a graph, so we're going to be using our calculator. So hopefully you already grabbed yours. So here's my calculator. Turn it on. I'm going to go to y equals, and I'm going to type in -x² plus 8x minus 15. And if y'all remember to go to the table, I'm going to hit second and then graph to get our table values. Those look too big to graph, so I'm going to go to where they get smaller. Alright, so 2, -3, 3, 0, 4, 1, 5, 0, and 6, -3. So there's our parabola. So I'm going to take this away so we can fill the rest of this out. Roots are your x-intercepts, so that would be -3, 0, not negative, +3, 0, and +5, 0. Our vertex would be here, and that is the ordered pair 4, 1. That is the highest point on the graph, so that is a maximum. The axis of symmetry is the line that goes through the vertex, so that x value is 4, so that's my equation. The y-intercept, oh, I don't see it on this graph, but if I go to my calculator again, and I want to know what my y-intercept is, that means my x value is 0. So if I go where x is 0, there's my y-intercept. So when x is 0, y is -15. And then domain and range. Domain is going to be all real numbers. Your range will be, goes from -infinity to 1, or y is less than or equal to 1. All right, this last one I want y'all to try on your own. So I'll have the sub pause the video, and after you get a certain amount of time, I want you to come back and check your answers to make sure that you're on the right track. All right, so hopefully you plugged it in your calculator. x², let's see, what is it? -4x. Went to the table and have 0, 0, 1, -3, 2, -4, 3, -3, 4, 0. You got this parabola. So your roots are at 0, 0 and at 4, 0. Your vertex is at 2, -4. It is the lowest point, so it's a minimum. Your axis of symmetry goes through that, so that's at x equals 2. Your y-intercept is also at 0, 0. Your domain was all real numbers. Your range is either from -4 to infinity, or y is greater than or equal to -4. So hopefully you got all of those correctly, or correct. If not, you can ask questions tomorrow or ask Mrs. Cunningham. She was a math teacher. So good luck and work on your assignment the rest of class.